Welcome to Harris Field, Ed Sheff Stadium, Lewiston, Idaho. It's the Avista NAIA World Series. And here today, it's our first elimination game on a cloudy and breezy day, overcast, threatening skies, as we have the Bellevue Bruins taking on the Mid-American Nazarene Pioneers here today. Along with Craig Lawson, I'm Larry Weir. And one thing you want to do when you get to World Series play is stay out of a big inning, and that's something that Mid-American Nazarene could not do yesterday or on Friday against Georgia Gwinnett, as they gave up a big inning and ended up losing the game by a run.
Yeah, first-time trip to Lewiston for Mid-America. They wind up 3-1 in front early in that ball game and then gave up a 6 spot to the defending national champions and eventually wound up losing, and that's why they face elimination here this afternoon.
So they did not get a soft landing in their first game in the NAIA World Series, playing the defending champs. Bellevue comes in to this ball game having lost to LSU Shreveport, and another thing you want to do is not give the other team extra outs, and Bellevue did that on Friday.
Well, and we've seen pretty good defense here at the World Series this season, but the errors that have been made seem to have been leading to big innings. Certainly that was the case for the Bruins on Friday. A 3-run inning after an error that broke open a close ball game. They wind up losing 8-4 and drop down here into the losers bracket.
If either of these teams want to win a national championship, they've got to win 6 consecutive games. It starts today here at Harris Field, and we'll have the first pitch coming up for you right after we pause for this timeout here on SWX. Along with Craig Lawson, I'm Larry.
start in my mind, Larry. Alexander Myers going to the mound. Just his second start of the season, so your season is on the line, and you go to a guy who has just 24 innings. So not sure maybe the health of some of the other guys on this staff for the Pioneers, but they go to a young right-hander who will get just his second start of the year, as we said, and they'll do it against a very potent Bellevue lineup.
They pretty much had to empty out their pitching staff because of the 6-run second inning yesterday. And so my guess, again, without having an opportunity to talk to the coaches prior to the start of the game, is this is going to be kind of a 1-inning, 2-inning thing. You get a couple of innings out of a guy, the next guy comes in. They don't have a particularly deep pitching staff, the Pioneers, so it's going to be a challenge to get through 6 days, having to win games every day. And my guess is they're going to be kind of a bullpen day, as it's known in Major League Baseball today. You're going to see a lot of players pitching today for Mid-American Nazarene. Here is Kobayashi, and the first pitch of the game misses for ball 1. And we are underway this afternoon at 12. Oak takes the breaking ball over the outside edge. 0-1 is the count. Barnett, they have some really good hitters at the top of this order. Barnett is another one of these guys. They've got a bunch of players that are batting .360 or higher on this team. And Barnett is at 403.
Well, we talked about Mid-American Nazarene giving up the big inning to Georgia Gwinnett. Certainly here, infield back, they're willing to trade an out for a run to try to stay out of the big inning here in the first inning.
2-1. They get him in here today. And with the breeze blowing, a good hitter's park could even be better today. Here's a little pop-up down the first base side, and racing over is Vogel to make the catch, and Kobayashi will have to hold at third. So a big out there by Myers, inducing a pop-up, which was exactly, he either wanted a strikeout or an infield pop-up, and that's what he got.
Yeah, he did his job right there. It was a nice play over there at first base by Vogel. And now they're going to bring the infield in with 1 out. It's a little bit of a change of strategy here.
And here's the big run producer for this Bellevue team, Alec Ackerman. There's a soft line drive that's going to get down for a base hit. Kobayashi will score, and the Bruins are on top early in this ball game as Alec Ackerman gets the base hit, drives in his 72nd run of the season, and it's 1-0 Bellevue here in the first inning of play.
I thought for a moment Kobayashi was going to be in no man's land as he went back to the bag on this ball to tag. I don't know if he's going to score if that ball is caught. I thought he should have been a little bit further down the line, but as you mentioned, he has the great wheels, so he's able to scamper home after the ball landed safely with a first run of the ball game for Bellevue.
That would have been an interesting play if that ball had been caught. That would have been, because I'm sure Kobayashi was going to come. Here's the cleanup hitter dropping a bunt, and he's going to beat it out. Not only is it the cleanup hitter dropping the bunt, it's the catcher dropping a bunt. And so Brent Davis with a beautiful bunt single. He couldn't have rolled it out there any better than that. And the Bruins keep the pressure on here in the first, and we'll get the courtesy runner coming in for Davis. Well done.
Well, I think that's just something he probably did on his own. That just, to me, is a high IQ baseball play, because you don't expect your catcher or your cleanup hitter to be dropping down a bunt. And Davis placed it perfectly, as you mentioned, Larry, and with it, a 2-men-on, 1-out situation for Bellevue as they look for that big inning we talked about.
Here is Matthew Soroy. Harley Buffon swing and a miss. Good pitch there. And he did not strike anybody against Oklahoma City, but he gets his first strikeout of the ball game here.
This guy is only fan 15 coming in. And right here, that's just a good located, well-located pitch. That might be strike 3 anyway. Maybe a little low, but certainly enticing enough for Soroy to go after it.
With 2 strikes, you've got to try to protect the plate there. Good sinker ball from Myers. So 2 out and 2 on, 1 in. And here is Alex Stuft, the first baseman. Little pop-up on the infield. This should be caught, and it's the pitcher in foul ground. You don't often see that. He lost his cap, avoided the runner, and still caught the ball. So a good play by Myers. The leadoff triple comes in to score, but otherwise Myers able to minimize the damage. Bellevue scores in the top of the first. They've got a 1-0 lead. And now we've got, waiting on just a minute, we've got something happening here.
I thought I heard a balk called. but I didn't see an enforcement of it. So I think they called a balk on the pitch.
Yes.
And so then the ball was put in play. We obviously were watching the out, but now because it was caught, they go back and enforce the balk.
And so the balk moves Ackerman to third and Davis to second. And Stuft will come back to the, let's see if we can see here. Right there, you saw the little flinch.
Yep, and then he continued with the pitch. That's the second time we've seen that in the last 2 games.
And here's a line drive base hit. And so that's going to cost him at least 1 run. As Ackerman scores, here comes the courtesy runner, and he's going to be out by a mile. As that was C.J. Townsend, the courtesy runner. He is out, but the balk costs Mid-American Nazarene a run. As Ackerman scores, Stuft, instead of being out, gets an RBI single, and the courtesy runner was cut down at the plate. So after the balk costs MNU a run, it's now 2-0 Bellevue as we go to the bottom of the first. Nothing in favor of Bellevue as we go to the last of the first. That is Drew Woodley, the left fielder for the Pioneers of Mid-American Nazarene. And let's take a look at their batting order. After Woodley, it's Bryson Sherwood, the shortstop, then Noah Castillo. You don't want to touch Noah Castillo right now. You'll burn your hand. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on. Joshua Sandoval, a All-American last year, is the catcher. Then it's Deonathan Cornett, Randy Fernandez, Josh Torrance, Ryan Leo, and Frank Vogel rounds out the batting order. Greg, let's look at the Bruin defense.
We got Soroy, Kobayashi, and Barnett left to right. Kobayashi, of course, the leadoff triple, scored the game's first run. Deal and Ackerman on the left side, Vaughn and Stuft on the right side of the infield. Behind the plate is Davis. And on the mound, Alexander
Salicio.
There we go. 6-1. Thank you.
And the first pitch is popped up by Woodley into shallow right field. Going out is Vaughn, the second baseman. He's camped under it and makes the catch, and there's one gone here in the first inning of play. As you look at Salicio's numbers this year.
Yeah, he's improved to 7-1 now, making his 9th start of the year, so half of his 18 appearances, a 3.58 ERA. And what I like is the strikeout to walk ratio. What is it, nearly 5-1? 72 strikeouts, just 15 walks in those 78 innings.
Salicio, an honorable mention all-conference selection as they play in the North Star Athletic Association. Here's a deep drive to left field, and that's going to be over the head of the left fielder Soroy. And steaming into second base is Bryson Sherwood with a 1-out double.
Well, you mentioned the wind blowing out here at Harris Field today, and that gave all kinds of trouble to Soroy. This is just a can of corn that should be caught, but he never really gets into a good rhythm here. He's drifting the whole time. We see it here. He never really ran to a spot. Now he gets himself turned around. That's a cardinal sin for an outfielder. And with that, it winds up being a 1-out double. And it really could have been 2 pitches, 2 outs. But now they get a runner into scoring position with just 1 out as they try to respond after giving up 2 to the Bruins in the top half of the inning.
19th double of the year for Sherwood. He leads the ball club. And here is Noah Castillo. And the first pitch to Castillo, they've been first ball swinging on every pitch so far, and he fouls one out of play. And the count is 0-1 on Castillo. He hit a couple of home runs in the ball game on Friday. And so over the last 17 games, he has 10 multiple hit games, and he has now 7 home runs and 28 RBI in those 17 games. Ground ball into the hole. That's into left field for a base hit. The runner, Sherwood, had to wait to make sure that would not be grabbed by one of the infielders. He didn't want to run into an out, so he goes to third base, and Castillo stays hot with another base hit, but they kept him in the ballpark.
Yeah, not trying to do too much right there. A little ground ball as he pulls it through that hole. That's how you stay hot. Just have a good, solid approach, not trying to do too much. Now they get the tying run aboard here in the first inning.
And the go-ahead run at the plate in Joshua Sandoval. Sandoval, a first-team All-American last year. He tore up the NAIA level as he hit .397 with 21 home run and 79 RBI, and he gets an RBI here as he bangs one back through the middle by the diving Vaughn. Sherwood scores, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, 4 consecutive hitters go up there swinging at the first pitch, so Something tells me they have a scouting report that says get him early in the count. And we'll now see a courtesy runner as we get a look at the replay. That's a breaking ball. And again, it's got to be something they've got in the scouting report, because you don't just go up there looking breaking ball in that situation without some advanced knowledge. And Sandoval gets the base hit and cuts the deficit in half.
Joey Calamayo is the courtesy runner, so he's at first with Castillo at second. 5 pitches in the inning, and we've had 4 batters. And here is Deonathan Cornett. And he's a big-time power man for this team. He led the ball club in RBI this season. As you take a look at Salicio on the hill. Fastball a little high.
Taking a look at Salicio, I'm trying to figure out the back of his hat. Maybe has it turned inside out around the back? Because Bellevue's hats do not have a white stripe across the back. So I don't know if it's something he's got underneath his hat or if he's almost turned it inside out.
I would say that's a good slider there, and the count's 1-1. I would say that's either the lip of the cap that is out, or he's got a headband on
right.
underneath.
It's one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just surprised if it's. Yeah, that's the hat turned inside out. Yeah, I'm surprised they're letting him pitch like that. Is my question, because that would be something that would alter the uniform for a pitcher. Usually, they don't let them get away with that. The headband, I can understand.
There you look at Cornett at the plate, 2-1. Cornett, a powerfully built young man. He was 3 out of 10 in the opening round games. And takes ball 3 there, 3-1. So it's kind of odd. The first 4 guys come up hunting the first pitch, and now you got to have a guy up there who's very patient at the plate, which is exactly opposite what all the other guys. And he hasn't drawn that many walks this year, which is the other odd thing. Takes a strike there, a good fastball, and the count 3-2.
Yeah, a pitch you have to lay off there. It's not a hitter's pitch in a 3-1 count. And Cornett actually thought it was ball 4. Don't know if you would start the runners here. Don't think you would with Castillo, the lead runner, at second.
Yeah, not a ton of speed, I don't think, there. They stay. And he popped him up. But again, with the wind, this could be an adventure, as that ball carries all the way out into left center field, where it is caught by the center fielder Kobayashi. And there's 2 down, and the runners have to hold. So that's something that we're going to be seeing throughout this game. Any fly ball hit, especially to left field, is going to be an adventure, because that ball, the wind is blowing out today to left. And that makes this the hitter's ballpark. we could see a big score today, I guess, is what I'm coming to. This could be a double-digit versus double-digit game.
Well, we've already seen the wind come into play in this inning when Sherwood hit that fly ball, the second batter of the inning, and it wound up going for a double on what was really a routine fly to left.
Here's Randy Fernandez. Takes a slider for a strike, and the count is 0-1.
Larry, you were speculating that perhaps this was a bullpen-type day for the Pioneers, and we do see some activity in their pen. So I think you're right. Myers may just have been out there for the 1 inning. We'll see.
Outside with that breaking ball, 1-1 strike now on Fernandez, who has had a whole stretch of multiple hit games. He had another one on Friday. In the last 19 games, he's had 13 multiple hit games now. Little outside. You kind of see the body language of Davis, the catcher there. He thought that was a strike, and so did Salicio. You can see the pitching rubber there, and he is working just from the very first base side. And there's another fastball that's close, but a little off the plate. 3-1.
I think that one was a more obvious ball, as we saw the catcher Davis really pulling it back toward the outer edge.
So a hitter's pitch here for a good hitter, trying to tie this ball game up. But he grounds it to short. Ackerman, off balance throw on target. And the inning ends, but Mid-American Nazarene gets a run back here in the last half of the first inning as Noah Castillo continues his hot streak as he drives in Bryson Sherwood with a run. After 1 inning of play, the Bruins have a 2-1 lead. Some of the crowd here on a cool day in Lewiston. There were a few rain showers around the region today. We could see a little bit of rain from time to time as we go through Elimination Day here on a Sunday. Some folks don't look all that happy to be sitting in the cool weather. And when you get toward the 1st of June, you expect something other than the upper 50s. Or 60 degrees, which is what we have here today with the wind blowing, and so it feels even cooler than that.
Well, none of the 4 teams that we have today were here last year when it was a completely different weather World Series where it was just, can you find some shade and some water?
That is what we see a lot of times here is temperatures into the 80s or 90s even with bright sunshine, no humidity to speak of. But that's not what we have this year here at the World Series. First pitch swung on and missed by Josh Vaughn, the second baseman, and he's down in the count 0-1. There you see Vaughn's numbers. 7-hitter in the batting order, batting .352, so it tells you about Bellevue's prowess at the plate and what they put out there. Myers now 1-1 in the count. So in the top half of the first inning, we had a play in which Alex Stuft popped out to first base, but a balk was called. And so they got to go back and do it again. Here's a high chopper out to the shortstop, and Sherwood will make the play. And there's one down. And ended up costing Mid-American Nazarene a run because then Stuff comes back with a base hit, drives in a run, and makes it a 2-0 ball game. We saw that last night, but there was a different result in the play. Instead of a pop out, it ended up being a base hit, so the balk never was enforced.
Right. If the batter runner reaches and everybody else moves up, you ignore the balk, which is what we saw for Southeastern last night when they picked up the base hit. And here, as we said, we thought we were going to break with the third out as Myers came off the mound and made a nice play in foul territory to get the third out, what we thought was the third out. But then they went back and enforced the balk, put the runners at second and third. And I think it's such an unusual play because usually if a guy balks, he just stops.
Yeah.
But in that case, in the case last night, he went ahead and continued. It was just a slight twitch, and then he went ahead with his motion to the plate. And both times the batters put the ball in play.
Andrew Ishii at the plate, and he hits a fly ball to right field that Josh Torrance is able to run down, slicing toward the line. And 2 outs very quickly here in the second inning. Mid-American Nazarene has a man up in the bullpen, but you wonder here if Myers gets out of the second inning. I would imagine they'll roll him back out there for a third. They'll probably roll him out there until he runs into trouble.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. The other side of the argument would be, would you just want him to try to get through the lineup one time? In which case, if he gets the number 9 hitter deal, he will have done that in 2 innings of work.
Breaking ball sweeps outside, 1-0 on Deal.
Obviously, he had some trouble with the top of the lineup, giving up the triple to Kobayashi to start the ball game, and then a 1-out single to Ackerman for the game's first run.
Deal, a second team all-conference selection out of the North Star Athletic Association. Two and one.
I've really been impressed with the pitches that a lot of the guys have made throughout this World Series in hitters' counts. They've either been able to throw a breaking ball for a strike or throw a well-located fastball. We saw that with Myers on that 2-0 pitch in this at-bat. And he'll have to do it again, 3-1.
Pitching backwards is something you don't want to give a fastball, a hitter a fastball in a hitter's count if you can avoid it, or you need to locate it well. He tried to throw a sinker low on his outside corner there and just missed, and so there's a 2-out walk, and now here we come. He's made it through the batting order one time, and I think we're going to get a change in the bullpen here, or a pitcher out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and again, it may have just been one time through the lineup, or it may have been the other thing we talked about. He gave up a base runner, so they're going to go ahead and get him out. It looked like the reliever had started toward the game like he was in, and yeah, that's going to happen right now.
And so whether it's one trip through the lineup, next man in, or as soon as he gets a base runner, then he's out. Whatever it is, we have a pitching change, and we'll introduce you to the new pitcher coming up right after we pause for this timeout.
P1FCU wants to help you get out and explore the Pacific Northwest. Each time you make a purchase with your P1FCU debit MasterCard, you get entered to win a weekly prize. Use your card for subscriptions like Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu, or sign up for text updates and alerts for more chances to win. You'll also get entered to win our grand prize getaway, including 2 e-bikes and a stay at Silver Mountain. Win a little adventure from P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Well, there is Alex Myers. He makes it through an inning and 2/3. He's allowed 2 runs so far. He's responsible for the man on base. Gave up 4 hits. Did not walk a man and struck out 1 here today. He gives way to this man out of Victorville, California. He is Eric Navarrete. He pitched on Friday, had good success, and overall on the season, good strikeout numbers there, Craig, but a high ERA.
Well, and again, we saw them maybe steal, 5 outs with Myers today, but here's a guy who you thought you might see take the mound at the start because he's had 14 starts in his 17 appearances this year. Of course, one of his 3 relief appearances, as we talked about, did come on Friday in the opening game for the Pioneers.
And so Navarrete will look at Kanta Kobayashi, who tripled his 7th triple of the year and scored a run in the first inning of play. And he was first ball swinging there, and he takes a strike here, and the count is 0-1. When you talk about runs scored on the season, Kobayashi second in all of NAIA baseball now with 87 runs scored this year. Off speed, floats outside. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Kobayashi with a very discerning eye. 33 walks drawn coming into this game. He had only struck out 16 times so far on the season, and that's in well over 270 plate appearances.
I'm not sure how he was able to avoid that pitch right there. That was a fastball bearing down on him, but he was able to get out of the way.
See a little Ichiro in the finish of the swing there?
Yeah. A little bit of the moving feet, too, prior to the swing. Got the defensive coach coming out of the dugout. I think he was not getting the attention of his right fielder, Torrance, out there. He wanted him to be further in.
The 2-2. He stays alive. You've got to make a good pitch against this guy to get him out. He's going to keep fouling the ball off because he makes contact and he's going to put the ball in place. You've got to make a good pitch in order to get him out here. He's not going to get himself out. Runner goes. And Sandoval couldn't get the ball. Lost the ball as he tried to get it out of his glove, and a stolen base for Deal.
I like that right there because you put the runner in motion on the 2-2 count, and like you said, Kobayashi's probably not going to strike out, but even if they throw him out, he gets an opportunity to lead off the next inning. So nothing wrong with your number 9 hitter being able to swipe a bag and create an RBI opportunity.
Just the 4th steal for Deal. This is going to be a tough play. The ball kind of eats up Ackerman, pops behind him, and here's a snap throw to third, and back is Deal as Cornette didn't realize he was off the base. And there was no talking that time from any of the infielders to help Cornette out. He couldn't see that the runner was away from the base. We'll see it here.
This ball's hit right at the shortstop, and originally I think they're waving the runner in, and the third base coach was talking about it with the runner. When the ball went straight up in the air, he had to send him back. And you could see Navarrete was pointing toward home already, and I think maybe out of the corner of his eye, that's what Cornette saw and thought the runner was coming toward the plate. And as you said, Larry, had he realized he was right there, he just puts a tag on him, and it's an into-the-inning type play.
And so now they have to deal with a tough Connor Barnett, and a good slider there, and the count is 0-1.
Well, we've talked about errors opening the door to big innings. We'll see here if Navarrete can overcome this, because they should have been out of the inning, but the physical error extended, and then I don't want to say a mental error, but a little bit of an unlucky play at third base. They could have been out of it there as well.
Well, Bellevue was bitten by the errors yesterday, and can they take advantage here? A long run and a good play by the second baseman Fernandez, going out into shallow right field to make the running catch, and Barnett pops up, and the inning ends as they leave 2 runners, 1 error in the inning, and we go to the bottom of the second. It's still 2-1 Bellevue.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
We go to the bottom of the second inning, bottom third of the order. As Josh Torrance, you see him there, followed by Ryan Leo and Frank Vogel. Here in the bottom half of the second inning against Solicio, who got through the first inning of play, giving up 3 base hits, consecutive base hits, but only allowing 1 run in the inning. And so here is Torrance.
Go, Sal, get your first right here, baby.
Get another catcher, Larry, going to that Tony Pena style of catching as Brent Davis all the way down to the ground with the leg extended. I get what you're doing. You're trying to, looks like we have something on the left field line, maybe a gate open down there or a loose baseball. It's a baseball down the left field line.
Loose baseball, and the fan's going to get a souvenir. How about that?
But what I don't like about this style of catching, it just exposes your catcher to those foul balls.
It does, because you've got shin guards and such on your legs for a reason, and you see him there on that knee. Well, if he gets a foul tip, instead of it going off a shin guard, it's going off your thigh.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
Maybe thigh guards are coming. Good breaking ball there. 1-2 on Torrance. Coming into Lewiston, Torrance led Mid-American Nazarene in batting average, hits, and triples this season. But he's been overtaken in batting average by the red-hot Castillo. Rolls over a little high topper here, and The third baseman Deal will throw him out, and there's one gone here in the last half of the second inning of play. Salicio set down 3 in a row now after the Sandoval single in the first inning of play. So here's Ryan Leo. He's the number 8 hitter, and he has 24 multiple hit games this season in 56 games. And you see a good batting average there. Pulled it down the line, foul. 0-1 on Leo. Since the 16th of April, coming into the World Series, Leo is hitting .397 in his last 18 games. So he's up that average to where it is now at .346.
He's clearly an optimist as we see him wearing the dark shades in the batter's box.
That ball's into the gap. Kobayashi, though, will be able to run it down. And there's 2 down. As the center fielder, he covers a lot of ground out there. 2 out and nobody on for Frank Vogel now, the first baseman. Vogel is a freshman, getting to start in his first college season. Had a base hit on Friday against Georgia Gwinnett. That snapped a 0 for 13 stretch for him. So he's 1 out of his last 17 as he stands there. And for a freshman, not a bad average in his first year as a collegian. Lifts that one foul. Counts even, a ball and a strike. You see the flags whipping with the wind here today.
See one of those state flags removed after the ball game today.
You saw the Kansas flag there just a moment ago, and that represents Mid-American Nazarene. And you see some of the other state flags. Somewhere out there is the Nebraska flag. That signifies Bellevue. So we've got Nebraska versus Kansas today. Weak roller to the left side. The first baseman stuffed, will underhand to the pitcher covering Salicio, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second for the Pioneers. 2 innings in the books here in our first elimination game in the 2022 Avista NAIA World Series, and Bellevue still with a 1-run lead. Well, there you go. It's a good day, I think, for a goose or a duck or any waterfowl. Not sure if that's the Snake River or the Clearwater River. They both run through this area. And they both have the geese. How about that? It's not exclusive to one river or the other. Some fowl take one river and some fowl take the other. They'll share their spot. Here's a little high chopper. This is going to be a tough play, and Navarrete can't make it. And Ackerman gets about a 25-foot base hit after having an RBI hit his first time up.
Yeah, I think a do-or-die play there for Navarrete. He was a little upset with himself he didn't come up with it. I don't know if he makes the throw in time anyway. Just a swinging bunt for Ackerman, and I think what he's upset about is he really had a chance to field it before it hit the ground the second time. He just missed it. But it correctly has scored a base hit. It's now 5 hits in the ball game for the Bruins.
So here's Brent Davis. And he's down in the count 0-1. He had a base hit his first time up. There you see it. And Brenton Davis, a first-team all-conference player in the North Star Athletic Association. Powerful left-handed hitter. Good pitch there, and it's 0-2. Davis's 17 home runs on the season. That is second on the team behind the guy at first base, Ackerman. He's driven in 51 runs so far this year, and he's a catcher that doesn't always go out for a courtesy runner. He scored 43 runs this year. He went out for a courtesy runner in the first inning of play, though. Maybe when he doesn't always catch, so there may be some games where he's obviously playing first base or something else and doesn't have the courtesy runner there. And he takes strike 3 over the inside corner. Good pitching there by Navarrete, and there's one gone in the top of the third.
Well, second time through the lineup for Bellevue. This is now their 14th hitter and 8 opportunities already with a runner on base. So they've had traffic throughout the early going.
And we'll see whether that, if you're not taking advantage of your opportunities and you're leaving men on base and you're getting guys thrown out on the bases, will that come back and bite them here in the end as Soroy takes a strike? They've already left 3 men on the bases, and they've had another thrown out at home plate.
Well, and they had 2 breaks so far with 2 outs. Each of the first 2 innings, you had the balk that erased what would have been in the third out. They took advantage of that with a base hit, but then had a runner thrown out, as you mentioned.
This could be a double play ball. And dug out by Vogel at first base. A nice job by Ackerman, or by Sherwood there at short. It's a 4-6-3 double play. Fernandez to Sherwood to Vogel. So the double play erases the base runner, and we go to the bottom of the third. Still 2-1 Bellevue.
Cultivating a spirit-empowered life, to learn and grow together, with professors who invest in you, and an education that will equip you to live out the story God has for you. This is your campus. These are your people. This is your future. We are VU.
Welcome back to Lewiston on a cloudy and cool day here in northern Idaho. The inland northwest is what they call it here. If you're in Kansas or Nebraska or elsewhere watching this and not watching on television here in the inland northwest on SWX with Craig Lawson, Larry Weir, bottom of the third. You saw Drew Woodley there a moment ago. He's ready to stride to the plate, the leadoff man, to face that man, Alexander Salicio, rather, and he is through 2 innings, allowing just 1 run so far. Woodley, 0 for 1, popped up to second his first time, takes the ball there, 1-0.
You mentioned it before, we just saw it again there. Brent Davis behind the plate, not happy with the home plate umpire. He thought that was a strike, and he did not get the call.
Big slider there, 1-1.
Kind of had the slumping shoulders as he threw the ball back to the mound, looked at the dugout, shook his head, and then turned around and asked the home plate umpire where it was. Usually the answer is, well, you should know because you just caught it.
2-1 now. Woodley, second on the Mid-American Nazarene Ball Club in runs, on-base percentage, and stolen bases. Went 3 out of 10 in the opening round games and scored 4 runs.
Did not travel far from his hometown of Overland Park, Kansas. to the Mid-America Nazarene campus, just across the border, both in the Kansas City greater metro area.
And Mid-America Nazarene in Olathe, Kansas. If you're wondering where they're from. One hopper, Salicio, a nice job to backhand that one. And he gets Woodley, and the leadoff man is retired for the third consecutive inning by Salicio. But now here's where the trouble started for him in the bottom of the first inning. Bryson Sherwood. He had a two-base hit, followed by Castillo, and then Sandoval both singling. So and a good pitch today. Over the outside edge, 1-2. Or excuse me, 2-2. Sherwood comfortable, hitting with 2 strikes. Fouls one at home plate, and that caught Davis.
I think the irony being is I think he wasn't actually set up in that low crouch that we've talked about. I think he was in more of a normal catcher stance on that pitch, but he still had to take a bite out of him.
Home plate umpires watch out for catchers. You can see.
No, he was down. I take it back. He had the knee down.
There. Sherwood says ouch. Or Salicio says ouch there. Home plate umpires take care of catchers and vice versa. You could see the home plate umpire a little bit ago. And now he's talking to Davis and pats him there on the chest. Catchers are a different breed.
Having trouble with the count. I think it is, in fact, just 1 and 2. The scoreboards, I think, had all the different combinations of this at bat. Home plate umpire was trying to correct me. I think we're finally at 2 and 2.
All right, so I was right.
I thought you were right too, and then the scoreboard was having like a fireworks show up there.
I'm not as young as I used to be, so if I don't always write things down or remember things as I should, and there's a breaking ball for a strike, and a strikeout, I should say, and there's 2 down in the inning. And now this is 7 in a row retired by Salicio as he looks at the red-hot Noah Castillo.
He gave up 3 straight hits to the 2-3-4 men as we get another look at good breaking ball for his first strikeout. That was almost like a guy who releases a basketball shot and knows it's going in and he's headed back on defense, because his reaction was like, yeah, I got you when I released it.
The red-hot Castillo with a base hit, and here's a high drive deep to left field. That ball is on its way, and it's not coming back. Another home run for Noah Castillo. And Mid-America Nazarene ties this ball game up here in the bottom half of the third inning. A solo blast for Castillo as he gets the home run there and makes it a 2-2 ball game for Castillo, his 10th home run of the year and his 8th in now the last 18 games.
Well, we saw in the first inning, the first 4 hitters in this lineup went up there hacking at the first pitch, and what I've seen so far is I think the scouting report they have is that Salicio likes to get ahead with his breaking ball, and if you feel comfortable going up there sitting on it first pitch, go ahead. And that's exactly what Castillo did, and he hits it out of here to tie the ball game.
And 1-0 now on Sandoval, the All-American last year, who's not performed to his level last year, honestly. It, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, .397 last year, and he came into the World Series with a .307 average this year. Had 21 homers last year, 15 this year, 79 driven in last year, 50 this year, 44 extra base hits last year, 27 this season. But he had a base hit his first time up in this ball game.
We probably should make it clear that regardless, we've talked about the wind today, but blowing out to left, but that ball hit by Castillo was not wind aided at all.
No, I think that's out of here on any day. Time called. Castillo, or Sandoval rather, as we had mentioned, had not the year that he had last year, but he has, since April 22nd, 8 home runs and 19 runs driven in 17 ball games. So he's starting to come around with the bat. Popped him up. Second baseman Vaughn, working with the wind, is able to make the catch, and the inning ends in the third. But the designated hitter, Noah Castillo, gets into a pitch, sends it into the bleachers in left field, and that evens the game through 3 innings, with Bellevue coming up in the top of the fourth. And there is Navarrete ready to go here in the top of the fourth inning. His team has gotten him even at 2-2. We may see Navarrete for a while, and we're not sure whether Myers was used as an opener or exactly what was going on there. But Navarrete ready to start the top of the fourth inning of play. He'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters, Jonathan Cornett, Randy Fernandez, and Josh Torrance. As you can see, the all-volunteer ground crew comes out after the third inning and after the sixth inning. They will drag the infield, make it a little better for play, and all these people are come out here and do this work. They are all volunteer. There are literally hundreds of volunteers who make this World Series go here in the Lewis-Clark Valley. Whether they're the grounds crew or the concession workers or the ticket takers or whoever it happens to be, it is all volunteer fueled here in Lewiston. All right. And the pitch, I said Cornett, I had my schedule flipped, or my scorebook flipped upside down. It's Alex Stuft, then Josh Vaughn, and Andrew Ishii here in the top half of the fourth inning of play. Stuft is a guy that he makes the World Series playing here for Bellevue, but he didn't play for Bellevue last year, but he played on a team that played here in the World Series. So he would have been in the World Series either way. He played at Westmont. So if he had stayed at Westmont, he still would have been in the World Series, but he transferred to Bellevue and now gets the opportunity anyway. Nice play by Vogel, going to his right, and a throw to Navarrete, and there's one gone here in the fourth inning of play.
Yeah, what a play over there at first base. Vogel going to his right on a ball that's definitely going to go into right field if it gets by him. Second baseman wasn't going to make this play. Knocks it down and then able to make a good enough throw to first base. And Navarrete doing a good job to get over there and cover. Difference between a leadoff single and retiring the first man of the inning.
And that's what's always bugged me about people who say, well, it's just put him at first base. You know, if you have an immobile guy or whatnot, there's more that goes into first base than just standing there and catching throws. And Vogel showed it there as Vaughn pops out to Vogel. And there's two down in the fourth inning of play. And now Navarrete, we saw it here in the third, and we're seeing it here in the fourth. He is getting outs on a minimum number of pitches, which is valuable when you get into this World Series format, and they're going to have to play every day until they lose.
Well, he's done a good job. Not a ball hit out of the infield yet. Akron had a base hit. It was a ground ball single that got through, but he's had a ground ball that was booted, a couple of infield pop-ups, a strikeout, a ground ball out, and he had a double play ball.
And so Navarrete, who had a good 2-inning outing on Friday, has been good so far in his inning now 2 full innings here today. Off the fist, weakly hit. Having to play quickly is Fernandez, but he makes the out there at first base to Vogel. And another 1-2-3 inning for Navarrete. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and we're all even at 2.
Every play matters. All of it captured. None of it by hand. With Huddle Focus. Multiple lenses and AI player tracking get the perfect angle. With one-time installation, just mount it, set it, forget it. Instant uploads. Automatic or on-the-fly recording with the Focus app. Scoreboard overlay. And live streaming. Because nothing gets by the eye in the sky.
I've dedicated my life to higher education because I had what Gallup calls the magical experience in college. At St. Thomas University, we strive for that magic for our students every day. Like mentoring faculty who will challenge you academically, character formation activities outside of the classroom, and required real-world experience before graduation. Visit stu.edu today so we can start the magical for you at STU.
Inside the Mid-American Nazarene dugout as they get ready to come to the plate in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Coach Ryan Thompson, in his 16th year, 462 victories, as the head coach of the Pioneers, Coach of the Year in the Heart of America Conference. And the pitch is in there for a strike to Dio Cornett, and the count is 0-1. Cornett hit a fly ball to center field. His first time up. Counts even, a ball and a strike. Cornett, then Fernandez, then Torrance. Here in the bottom of the fourth against Salicio. Gave up the solo home run in the bottom of the third to Castillo that tied the ball game. 1-2. Salicio third on this Bellevue team in innings pitched and in strikeouts in the opening round. He pitched the clinching win over Concordia, a 5-2 victory. Went 7 2/3 innings, allowed 9 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He walked 3 and struck out 6. In the NSAA tournament, he also beat Presentation with a good start. 8 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 6 in that one. So he's been good in the postseason so far. High pop up Cornett. Vaughn drifting in the wind. Now the wind blowing in, and instead it'll be the shortstop Ackerman to make the catch. They had 5 guys standing in the general vicinity of that pop up. The center fielder, the right fielder, the shortstop, the second baseman, and the third baseman were all over there.
You can see Ackerman going back out, talking to his outfielders there, just saying, hey, stay with it. I found it.
And the wind has shifted now. It looks like it's blowing in from left field. There's a weak swing, and Fernandez down in the count, 0-1. So if that was going on when Castillo hit his home run, then he hit it in the wind, which even makes his home run even more impressive. A ball and a strike here on Fernandez. Salicio's allowed 4 hits so far in the game. 2 runs, 5 hits so far for Bellevue. 2 runs, 4 hits for Mid-American Nazarene. The only error in the game committed by the Pioneers. There's Fernandez, 2-time second team Heart of America selection. Hits the ball hard to Kobayashi, but he's right there for it. And there's 2 down. So 2 out, nobody on, and Josh Torrance will step to the plate. Torrance, a first team all-conference player. Also played last year for Mid-American Nazarene, hit 301 in 2021. 4 home runs, 37 RBI last year. That ball's hit into left field. But right there is Soroy, and he'll put that one in the well. 3 fly balls, 3 outs. Here in the bottom half of the 4th inning of play. 3 up, 3 down for the Pioneers. We'll go to the 5th inning of play. Elimination game. One team will go home. One team lives to play tomorrow. We're all even at 2. Well, we go to the 5th inning of play. We are all even at 2. As you are looking there at the head coach for Bellevue. I have lost my information, so I apologize. Weak roller to short, and the play will be made by Sherwood, and there's one gone as Zach Deal grounds out. So that is now 6 in a row set down, as that was head coach Dwayne Monlux, who has 490 career wins in 12 seasons as the Bruins head coach. Kobayashi, he's been aboard both times, tripled and scored in the first and reached on an error his next time up in the second. It's this one toward short, tough play, and Sherwood had to try to transfer and throw quickly. That should be a base hit because Kobayashi's, as we said, there are some Ichiro similarities, and he likes to hit it the other way and get a running start. So Sherwood had to do everything perfectly there, even to have a chance, and he couldn't come up with it. And they're going to call it an error.
So that becomes the second straight time Kobayashi has reached on an E6. I agree with you. I don't know if they would have been able to throw him out.
Yeah, I think even if he had fielded that cleanly, that would have been he would have had to have a very strong throw in order to try to get him. And charging the ball and having to throw across his body, I'm not sure he could have gotten enough on it to get him, but we'll never know. And it is scored an error at this point in time. Kobayashi, a threat to run. He has 22 steals so far this year. As Connor Barnett, there he goes. Slider out, swung on and missed. There's the throw, and a perfect throw by Sandoval, and he cuts him down. Well done. 2-4.
Yeah, not a great pitch to handle here, as it looked to me like it was down and away. But he just pops up and throws a bullet to second base.
Well, there's a reason why this man was an All-American last year, Sandoval. And he showed it right there with his throwing arm rather than his bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. So now 2 out, nobody on. Kobayashi caught for the 10th time this season in 32 steal attempts. 1-2 now on Barnett. That's a big play because if you get Kobayashi in scoring position with 1 out, you've got big hitters coming up with Barnett, who's a .403 hitter. Then you've got Ackerman at .373 after him, and then you've got Davis at .383 after him. All these guys with 13 or more home runs, 2 on the season. So big play there by Sandoval on that tough pitch to throw on. 2-2. Bellevue a high-scoring team this season. They have scored better than 9 runs per game. Foul tipped into the glove of the catcher Sandoval, and it ends up being a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 5th as Eric Navarrete just keeps rolling along. We're halfway done here at Harris Field in Lewiston, still all even at 2.
Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes.
And there you see the Kansas flag for Mid-America Nazarene as they get ready to come to the plate here. They're hoping that flag stays for at least another day. As a team is eliminated, a flag goes off the left field bleachers. As you see the Pioneer dugout. Andrew Salicio here getting ready for his, Alexander Salicio getting ready for his 5th inning of work here. He'll look at the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Ryan Leo, Frank Vogel, and then back to the top of the order for Drew Woodley. And Leo down in the count 0-1.
Silicio's done a great job in the bottom of the order as he has not allowed a base runner to the 5 through 9 hitters yet.
0-2. Leo, one of the 6 Pioneers with a .390 or better batting average. That was last year, actually. In 2021, they had an outstanding team that didn't quite get here to Lewiston, and he had .395 last year. But still came back, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Since the 16th of April, he's hitting near 400. So he's back to the form that he showed last year. That's a good man to have, a guy hitting nearly 400 in the 8th spot in the batting order. High pop-up. Tough play. Vaughn in fair ground, makes the catch. And there's one down, and again with the wind blowing that ball away from him, foul. Vaughn with a good job there, a nice running catch.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was with you, Larry. I thought he had reached across the foul line, but the first base umpire gave us the indication he had it in fair territory. So had that ball glanced off the glove, it would have been a runner at second base at least. Get another look at it here.
Yeah, good call by the base umpire. Looked like he did catch that in fair territory. Here's Frank Vogel. He made a nice defensive play earlier in this ball game. Takes a strike here. Number 9 hitter for the Pioneers. Oh, and 2. Second game for these teams in the World Series, but the pitching has been very good so far in this ball game. With Myers and Navarrete going for the Pioneers and Salicio going for the Bruins. As Vogel goes down, Salicio gets a strikeout. That's his second of the ball game. Well-located fastball there on the outside edge. And with 2 strikes, Vogel's got to try to protect. So 2 outs, nobody on for Drew Woodley. Soft line drive on a hop smothered by Ackerman. And a strong throw to first in time for the out, and Woodley is retired for the third straight time. 3 up, 3 down, 7 in a row now. Retired by Solicio since the Castillo home run in the third that tied the game. We go to the 6th. Still, Bellevue 2, Mid-American Nazarene 2. Well, some of the hills here around the Snake River, and some of the threatening skies. I can't decide if that's maybe a rain cloud or just a dark cloud that's maybe coming our way. A breezy day here in Lewiston today, and that is Eric Navarrete. He has come on and pitched very well. He's only allowed 1 hit in now 3 1/3 innings. He starts his 4th full inning of work, and there's a slider that Ackerman can't hold up on, and it's 0-1. Alec Ackerman, 2 out of 2, a base hit and an RBI in the first, and an infield single, rolled a little swinging bunt about 25, maybe 30 feet up the third base line his last time up. And now he's 3 for 3. So Ackerman just a hitting machine. He was the player of the year in the North Star Athletic Association this year, first team all-conference player, and he continues to do what he does, and that's hit the ball for the Bruins.
That's the first ball that's wound up in the outfield off of Navarrete. Actually, the infield hit by Ackerman. Everything else has been ground balls or pop-ups, or he had some strikeouts, and he had 1 runner cut down on the bases.
So here's Brenton Davis. And he executed a bunt single earlier in this game. So this is the cleanup hitter, and he was able to drop a perfect bunt single, and that's got Deonathan Cornett in tight at third. He's a couple of steps in on the grass.
Well, he squared around a bunt on that first pitch, too.
Yeah. Hit in the air to left field. Back on the ball goes the left fielder, and that ball is out of here, home run. So now the wind shifted again, and it's blowing out to left field. And Davis hits one the other way and puts the Bruins back on top by the score of 4-2. First home run of the ball game for Bellevue. For Davis, his 18th home run of the year. And that looked like a routine fly ball off the bat.
Yeah, he just got it up into that wind, as you talked about, or with the wind, I should say. And, okay, what I saw is the second bounce. It hit the yellow line, but it hit the windy sign out in left field, and then ricocheted off the top of the wall and back into the field of play.
And for people who are not used to watching the World Series here in Lewiston, we should explain the fence situation here, and we'll maybe get a look at that here in a moment too, as Soroy goes 0-2. But there are 2 levels of fence signs here, and you will see the fence sign on the regular outfield wall. Then there's a second level of signage, and those signs are set back as Soroy goes down swinging, and there's one gone here in the 6th inning of play. And so that second, there you see it there, that second level of signage, that is set back by a few feet. So if it hits those signs, that's a home run, as that's outside the field of play. And you get a good look at there from our camera crew. Nice job by the guys, as always. Here's Alex Stuft.
And again, on that ball that Davis hit, in live action, what I saw was the ball hit off the yellow line, which of course kept it in play. And immediately I looked to the third base umpire, and he was signaling home run as you were calling it, because you guys both saw the ball off the second set of signs. And as you mentioned, that of course is a home run because it's beyond the barrier.
So 2-0 here. Brenton Davis, his 18th home run of the year. Now 53 runs driven in. 2-1 on Stuffed. So we thought with the breezy conditions this might be a big scoring day, but the pitchers to this point have done a pretty good job, and here's a hit batter. And Stuffed will go down to first base. And we're starting to see a little action in the Mid-American Nazarene bullpen here, as Navarrete has given up his first runs of the game.
Well, Myers went through the lineup the one time, left with 2 outs in the second.
And this is the second trip now for Navarrete through the lineup.
Did a nice job the first time through. He's run into some trouble here.
Bunt attempt foul by Josh Vaughn. And the count is 0-1. Vaughn has grounded out and popped up so far. As you look at Eric Navarrete, who's thrown coming into this inning, I believe, only 31 pitches. Here in this ball game, and now what, 3 2/3 innings. And again, showing bunt is Vaughn. There's a snap throw to first, and a nice job by Vogel, the first baseman, to dive and keep that ball from going into right field.
That's the second time we've seen Vogel dive to his right, once on a ground ball and now on this throw. The guy who might be the most thankful, though, is Stuff, because I'm not sure that ball would have ricocheted right in his midsection if Vogel doesn't come up with it.
So he offered at that bunt, did Vaughn, 0-2, and he stays alive by fouling one to the screen. Navarrete has served up 1 double play ground ball so far. He'd love to have another one here. And get back to the dugout. See if his team can go back to work. And they rallied from a 2-0 deficit after the first inning of play. See if they can rally again here. 1-2 now on Vaughn.
I'd like to know where that pitch was. It looked like a fastball right down the heart of the plate.
And we'll look at it here.
Up, maybe?
Maybe, or maybe just a tad off the plate. Hard to tell. Our center field camera there is to the left of center. There's a breaking ball fouled away. Still 1-2.
And I think maybe what caught me by surprise is we've seen rather generous strike zones throughout this Avista NAIA World Series, and the catcher doesn't move his mitt. You just think it's going to be strike 3.
And every now and then the umpires miss one, and that might have been one of those cases as well. Slider a little outside, 2-2.
Well, I will say that his mechanics have him too low behind the plate because his head is not staying above the catcher. And sometimes wherever umpires set up their eye level, if it's above their eyes, they just say that's a ball.
Fouled out of play again. He's fouled off 3 good ones with 2 strikes. Vaughn with a good at-bat here to extend it. Trying to keep this inning going. 2 in, 1 on, 1 out. Here in the top of the 6th, Bellevue with a 4-2 lead. Outside, 3-2.
That time we saw Sandoval pound the dirt. I think he was upset thinking he had strike 3. So a little bit of extra life here for Vaughn in this at bat.
Bellevue making their first appearance here in Lewiston since 2019. Fouled out of play one more time. So still 3-2. We mentioned that Mid-American Nazarene in the Kansas City metro area. Bellevue is in the Omaha metro area. Another foul ball. 5 now by Vaughn. And this will be pitch 11 coming up at this at-bat. So he's making Navarrete work, and that pitch count is mushrooming here in the top half of the 6th. Strikeout there as Navarrete strikes out the second man here in the inning, and the fourth strikeout of the ball game. Good pitch here. Expecting a fastball, and he threw him a slider.
Well, it had been such a battle with Vaughn fouling off all types of pitches that you just felt like he was going to go after whatever you threw up there as long as you were close.
Andrew Ishii will now hit. He is flied to right and grounded out to second base. We have 58 degrees here in Lewiston. Winds are out of the west-northwest from, it says 10 to 17 miles an hour. That's probably at the airport. I would be surprised if we don't have gusts over 20 miles an hour here where we are anyway. The outside corner there, 2-1. Good 2-0 pitch. The action is stopped in the Pioneer bullpen. Counts even at 2-2.
Navarrete now, just about every pitch goes back out behind the rubber, facing his back to the home plate, facing center field, takes a deep breath before he gets back up on the rubber.
3-2.
We saw Myers do that after his warm-up tosses at the beginning of the inning. We'll see it here. Kind of a visualization technique, maybe?
Maybe. Payoff pitch, runner goes, taken outside, ball 4. So the first walk issued by Navarrete continues the inning here in the top of the 6th, and it brings the number 9 hitter to the plate. They retired Ishii his last time up in the 4th, so they started the 5th with the number 9 hitter, but now Deal will hit here in the 6th inning as here comes Coach Thompson. And this may be it for Navarrete.
Well, with the reaction of the infielders in the dugout, it sure looks like it.
Navarrete gave him 4 innings, though. And so that will be all. So Eric Navarrete goes 4 innings. Unfortunately for him, he's on the hook here unless the Pioneers can come back and tie this ball game or take the lead. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back after this timeout. Bellevue's taken a 4-2 lead, and they are threatening here in the top of the 6th.
Welcome to the NAIA World Series live stream. All of us in the Joe Hall Ford family are excited to have been a major sponsor for the past 23 years.
And we've appreciated your business since 1998.
If you're looking for a new ride, check out the amazing selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and trucks at joehallford.com.
And the brand new Fords and Lincolns arriving every week.
So please join all of us at Joe Hall Ford in enjoying some of the best baseball in the nation.
Today, we're here for your health. We've served our community for generations. Time has brought many changes, but health remains a priority. We provide a range of healthcare services to help you be your best and have the experience to care for you and your family. Close to home, whenever you may need us. Today and every day.
And so the third pitcher now for the Pioneers is into the ball game, and this is Reese Helland, who's had a good start to his World Series. Young man out of Canada, and overall a good year for this Mid-American Nazarene team.
From Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, 22nd appearance, second here in Lewiston. Inning and 2/3 of shutout ball on Friday. 28 strikeouts in 27 innings to go along with just 8 walks, a 2-2 record, and a 4.33 ERA. And right now he's got to come in, make a big pitch, get out of the inning, and keep this a 2-run ball game.
So Helen comes in here. Try to get out of a little bit of a jam in the 6th inning. Zach Deal, the third baseman, has walked and stolen a base and grounded to short. Looking for a big hit here in this situation. Deal has driven in 44 runs this year. So he's a solid run producer at the bottom of the order. A 265 hitter coming in. Takes a bender outside. 1 ball and no strikes to the count. There you see the young man out of Moose Jaw. Fans of sports in this general area, inland Northwest, would recognize Moose Jaw because their hockey team is in the same league as the Spokane hockey team, the Western Hockey League. They don't often play. Moose Jaw would be in the Eastern Division, Spokane in the Western Division, but I believe they are the Moose Jaw Warriors. 1-2.
Of course, Warriors, something that we see a lot here. Well, this week, obviously Lewis Clark State the host, and both teams we have in the second elimination game today nicknamed the Warriors.
Yes, Westmont. The Warriors of Westmont against the Warriors of Weber International coming up after this ball game. Another elimination game, and Helen does his job as he strikes out Deal and ends the 6th inning of play. But Brenton Davis goes deep for the 18th time this year. He drives in Alec Ackerman, and Bellevue has taken the lead 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
These lights were never meant to stay dark. These seats were never meant to stay empty. These places were never built to stay quiet. Game day looks different today. It might take some getting used to, but we come here for the same purpose. To celebrate, to embrace and heartbreak, to hope.
You will be supported.
Your voice will be heard.
Your goals will be recognized.
You will be career ready.
You will get real-world experience.
You will succeed.
Your faith will be welcomed.
You will be
inspired.
At home, heard, accomplished.
Energized.
A leader.
Your professors will know your name. You will create.
Will live with purpose.
Be involved.
You.
You belong here.
Here.
I belong here.
Bellevue hoping that blue flag you see there in the center of the shot stays for another day. Again, when a team is eliminated, their flag is pulled from the bleachers. They're in left field. And Bellevue from the Omaha area hoping to stay in for at least another day and move into play tomorrow. Right now they have a 4-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. That is Alexander Salicio. He has pitched well through 5. And he will look at the 2, 3, 4 hitters where Mid-American Nazarene can do a lot of damage. Bryson Sherwood takes the pitch low for a ball, 1-0. On Sherwood. Sherwood led the team in runs scored, doubles, extra base hits, total bases, slugging percentage, walks, hit by pitches, on base percentage, and on base plus slugging percentage this year. Led them in almost everything except home runs and RBI. Two and two. And Salicio with another off-speed pitch there and a fastball count. And there's another strikeout. Sherwood has fanned twice in this ball game, and that's something that doesn't happen often to him. He puts the ball in play more often than not.
Salicio has now retired 15 of the last 16 men he has faced. As we get another look at that strikeout. Pitch that was down and away, and Sherwood going after it.
The only man that he has not retired, and part of that is the man coming to the plate, Noah Castillo, who homered in the third inning. That long ball tied the game and continued his hot streak. Here is his home run today. He hit 2 on Friday here. Got a pitch right in the center of the plate, and Silecio knew it on contact. We're staying away from him here. 1 ball, 1 strike. You don't want to let a pitch drift over the center of the plate against this guy right now.
Yeah, both those first 2 pitches were fastballs. Again, when they've done damage against Silecio today, it's been first pitch breaking balls.
1-2 now. This would be huge for Silecio to be able to get by Castillo, and then if he can get Sandoval out, you roll into the last third of this game with a 2-run lead and the lower half of this order, which isn't quite as potent as the top half of this order, but still it's a very good batting order up and down for Mid-American Nazarene. 2-2. Castillo in the opening round series with just 2 out of 5. He had a home run in that series as well. A home run and an RBI, 6 out of 15 in the conference tournament. And he drove in 6 runs in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. Swing and a miss there. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Silecio in this ballgame. He's fanned 3 men in the last 2 innings and 4 overall in the ballgame.
Just challenged Castillo right there, and he swung right through it.
And so 2 out, nobody on. And here's Joshua Sandoval. Sandoval, an RBI single, his first time up, and he hits the ball high and deep to left field. And they aren't even moving for that one. That is a home run for Joshua Sandoval. The left fielder, Soroy, started to move and says, nah, I don't have a chance. There's no reason for me to expend any energy here. And Sandoval with a solo home run cuts the lead in half.
Well, and Sandoval knew it right away with the bat flip. And again, if we get another look at it, it looked to be another first pitch breaking ball. And that, when they've been in the zone, is where the Pioneers have done their damage today. They just go up there looking for it.
Here we'll get a look at it. Wanted it away, and it just hung.
Yeah.
Waist high. And Sandoval knew he had one. His 16th of the year. And again, his 9th in the last 18 games.
And I know you can't make the adjustment if you're Silecio just to throw all first pitch fastballs. But again, he's gotten hurt with the first pitch breaking ball today.
Fouled out of play. 0-2, and Cornette has the power to tie this ball game up.
So the only 2 men to reach since the first inning have both hit solo home runs.
9 home runs for Cornette this year. 20 extra base hits. 1-2. Yeah, Silecio since the first inning has allowed 2 solo homers. That's been it. 2-2. Castillo and Sandoval with the home runs for Mid-American Nazarene, and Davis with a home run for Bellevue. 3 home runs here on this day. 4-3 in favor of Bellevue last half of the 6th inning. Just missed with that bender, and it's 3-2 now.
Well, you'd like to see him challenge Cornette here. You've got the lead. Throw your best pitch. Don't walk you and put the tying run aboard.
Fouled at home plate, and that got a piece of the umpire. And it got him on the hand, it looks like. Yep, left hand. And it's still 3-2 on Cornette. Hand or wrist.
And we've all been there, and we all know better than shaking it doesn't really. But we all do it.
Brenton Davis giving him a little bit of time to try to recover here. Now again, the payoff pitch. jumped on a hop to the third baseman. His counterpart, Deal, the strong throw across, and Cornett is retired in the 6th inning. Ends, but the solo home run by Joshua Sandoval cuts the 2-run lead in half, and the Pioneers hang in the ball game. 6 innings completed now here at Harris Field in Lewiston. No doubt about this one. And it brings the Pioneers to within 1 at 4-3 as we go to the 7th. Well, there you see the confluence of the Snake River and the Clearwater River. Here in the Lewiston-Clarkston Valley, Harris Field is where we're playing today. Bellevue with a 4-3 lead as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Welcome inside our broadcast booth here at Harris Field with Craig Lawson, Larry Weir, and 3 home runs here on this day. But on a windy day, we've had very good pitching, Craig, and a very low-scoring game here as we go to the last third of this game.
Well, the difference in the ball game really is the home run by Bellevue came with a man aboard, where it's been 2 solo shots for Mid-America Nazarene, and with that, the 1-run lead for the Bruins as we get into the latter stages of the ball game.
Top of the order coming here for Bellevue against that man, the third pitcher for the Pioneers, Reese Helland. And he will look at Kanta Kobayashi, then Connor Barnett and Alec Ackerman. Here's we go to the 7th inning on a windy day here in Lewiston. The winner of this game advances to play tomorrow. The loser will see their season end here in 2022. Kobayashi has been aboard every time, twice on errors, once on a triple to start this game. Was thrown out trying to steal in the 5th inning of play. The winner of this ball game will move on to play tomorrow morning at 8:30. And they will take on Tennessee Wesleyan tomorrow morning in a loser-out game. Two and one now, and Kobayashi threw him a 2-0 breaking ball there. Kobayashi played last year at Gonzaga. Up the road a couple of hours in Spokane. Mainly was a defensive replacement for the Bulldogs. It's a roller towards second. This is going to be a tough play. Had to hurry, and they get him by a step. Good job by Fernandez. When you know you have to hurry, you can't get in a hurry. And what was John Wooden say? Be fast, but don't hurry, I think. And that's what Fernandez was there, and there's one down.
Yeah, sometimes you have to, because your mind is saying, I got to get there, the body speeds up along with it. That's where you get yourself in trouble, but a good job by the second baseman, Fernandez.
Connor Barnett's had no luck so far today. He hasn't gotten it out of the infield. 2 pop-ups and a strikeout. But again, a very dangerous hitter for this Bruin team. Hit in the air to center field. That's back on the ball now is Leo, and he will make the catch on the warning track, or just in front of the warning track, perhaps. So Barnett gives it a pretty good ride to straightaway center field on this windy day, but Leo had it tracked. 2 out, nobody on. And Helland now has retired all 3 men that he has faced. Helland has not allowed a run in his last 8 appearances. 2 of those in the opening round games. pitched against Freed Hardman in their first game. And then in the first game they played against Oklahoma City as well. 4 total innings. He allowed 1 run, 1 hit, and he struck out 6 in the opening round. 2-0 on Ackerman, who's having a perfect day so far today.
He has 3 of Bellevue's 7 hits in the ballgame.
And 2 of their 4 runs scored. 2-1, well-located fastball there. Check swing evens the count now at 2-2. So in the postseason, Helen, out of those 8 appearances, 6 of them have come in the postseason, and he hasn't allowed a run. And we'll see how long he is on for. He's not a guy that pitches a lot of multiple inning. He might throw an inning or 2 and occasionally might get out to 3. We'll see how long they stay with him here in this one.
They've got a left-hander up on the rubber in the bullpen, and they've got a right-hander who's just getting loose. And for good measure, they've got another guy who's grabbed a bat and maybe is going to be in a pinch hitting role. So a lot of activity down there in the Pioneer bullpen.
Hit in the air to center field, but Leo's got it tracked, and Ackerman's going to be retired for the first time in the game as Leo puts it in the well. And Helland retires the side in order and has retired all 4 men that he has faced now in the ballgame. The fans will stand for the 7th inning stretch here at Harris Field. It's still Bellevue clinging to a 1-run lead.
At the University of Mobile, we believe that college is a journey, not a destination, filled with experiences that change you, challenge you, inspire you, where you discover your passions, your calling, your purpose. It's a journey that begins with strangers who become friends, then family. Know yourself, know your calling, be known at the University of Mobile.
Well, the Pioneers trailing by a run, looking to get back into it here. And there you can see the first 2 men that will step to the plate here in the last of the 7th inning. Randy Fernandez on the right side of the screen and Josh Torrance on the left. And they will face Alexander Salicio, who enters his 7th inning of work. Giving up a couple of home runs and 3 straight hits in the first inning, and outside of that, you can't argue with anything this young man has done. He has not hurt himself. He hasn't given up any walks in this ball game. Bellevue has fielded their positions, so Mid-American Azarena's had to earn what they have gotten so far in this ball game.
Well, and Salicios at that part of the lineup where he has retired them every time he has faced. You look at the last 5 hitters in the lineup, they are currently 0 for 11. In the ball game.
And Salicio this pitch here is pitch number 80. So he still has probably some pitches left in the tank. And he's quickly ahead of Fernandez, 0-2.
Yeah, if he's efficient here in the 7th, you can start thinking about maybe even a complete game effort.
Fernandez, a 2-time second team All Heart of America Conference player. 1-2.
Here's that waste pitch, but again, it simply is a waste pitch unless you back it up. If you're setting somebody up with it, it makes sense. If not, you're just wasting a pitch, literally.
Hit hard into right field, but right there on the play, Connor Barnett. And there's 1 down. So Fernandez hits it hard, a good line drive into right, but just a slicing line drive, it looked like, that was coming back toward the right fielder, Barnett.
I thought he was trying to bury that pitch a little bit, left it up. Fernandez made good contact, but just had him play perfectly defensively.
So here's, go ahead.
No, again, the bottom of the lineup just not able to get anything going for the Pioneers. They at least need to try to turn the lineup over here in this inning.
And they've got some good hitters down here in the bottom of the order. Fernandez was 365 coming in. Torrance is at 376 on the season coming into this ball game. And then Ryan Leo at 346, but hitting close to 400 since the 16th of April. So they've got some guys that can swing the bat in these 6, 7, 8 positions at the very least. And they've just been thwarted so far by Solicio. 2-1.
Torrance, a native of California. There's a headband representing the flag of his native state underneath his batting helmet.
2 balls and a strike. Now 3-1, and this is just the 4th time in this game that Solicio has gone to 4 balls. Or at the 3 balls, excuse me, on a hitter. He's never gone to 4. He hasn't walked anybody. But only 4 times has he even gotten to 3 balls in the count when a man has been at the plate. So he's been very efficient here in this one. And there's the first walk. So this is the old broadcaster's jinx comes around as Torrance throws the bat away, and the tying run is aboard.
Well, and part of the reason that the pitch count is so low is because, again, the Pioneers have gone up there hacking at the first pitch, and again, often when it's been a breaking ball. First 4 hitters of the game swung at the first pitch. Both home runs in this ball game have been on the first pitch.
A little meeting at the mound here as Solicio is a little bit upset there. I don't know if he thought he was getting squeezed a tad bit or if he just was upset with the execution of his pitches. So this probably just a meeting to calm him down a little bit. If it was a problem with executing or finishing his pitches, maybe some words of wisdom from the pitching coach there. Hey, you've got to, do whatever it is that he needs to do to finish his pitches. And now is either to calm him down or a little mechanical situation, and we'll see what happens here with Ryan Leo. And there's a strike right away. 0-1 gets ahead. Torrance has stolen 6 bases in 6 attempts this year. And you've got a hole to shoot through for the right side, but right now you don't have a good hit and run count at 0-1. You really don't now at 0-2.
Well, if you can stay out of the double play here, you will get the number 9 hitter in the lineup up this half inning, which is exactly what we talked about, turning it over to where if the worst case scenario is you lead off the 8th with the top of your batting order.
That's what they want to avoid here, the ground ball that can be turned into a twin killing. Left side, 1-2. Frank Vogel, the first baseman, and the lone Pioneer in the starting lineup that does not hit 300 is in the on-deck circle. There you see him. And there's a base hit. To second base and holding is Torrance, and Ryan Leo, as Greg mentioned, gets the first base hit for the 5 through 9 hitters in this batting order. So now not only does he stay out of the double play and avoid even making an out, he now puts a runner on in scoring position here as they try to get this game tied here.
Yeah, pitch was down and in, and again, it looked like the breaking ball that he was hurt by. And with that, they're going to go to the bullpen there. It's a little bit of a surprise. They're going to go to the pen.
So Solicio's day is done. He allows 6 hits in this ball game over 3 innings. And he will give way to the bullpen here in a 1-run game with the go-ahead or the tying run at second base and the go-ahead run at first here in the 7th inning. We'll tell you about the relief pitcher in just a moment. So there is Alexander Solicio getting hugs for a good outing. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs so far. He's responsible for the men on base. He struck out 4, walked just 1 in this one. So he did his job, and he gives way now to the bullpen. And we'll see what happens here as Blake Crippen, a young man out of the Northwest, will come out onto the mound here, normally a starter. So we'll see how that affects him pitching out of the pen tonight.
Yeah, just his 3rd relief appearance, but you look at it, Larry, both those relief appearances have resulted in a save. He also has an 11-3 record. 71 1/3 innings pitched, 62 strikeouts. Don't know if he'd be asked to have a save yet. Today, that would be a tall task. It would be an 8-out save.
Bellevue does a lot of recruiting out of the northwestern U.S. Their recruiting area is Nebraska or the Pacific Northwest. They've got a lot of players from Idaho, mostly from southern Idaho, and a lot of players from the I-5 corridor, which would be western Washington, western Oregon. And Crippen, one of those, out of the state of Oregon. And we have a pinch hitter here from Mid-America Nazarene, as they have sent Will Morris up to the plate, a .221 hitter. Morris with 8 RBI on the season. One and two.
Playing a lefty-righty matchup here.
And Vogel can come. He can re-enter the game again in the 8th inning for defense. There you see Morris's numbers this year. Breaking ball inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count.
And I correct myself. No saves for Crippen yet this year. He has a couple of complete games. But he has had a decision in each of his 14 outings, including the 2 relief efforts. So he's 11-3 on the year in 14 appearances.
Up the middle. This will be 2. A room service double play led the shortstop right to the bag. Leo is out 6 unassisted coming down, and then Morris is retired for the 3rd out of the inning. So the double play, the pitcher's best friend here. High chopper over the mound. Led the shortstop Ackerman right to the bag. He completes the twin killing, and Bellevue retains this 1-run lead going to the 8th. And welcome back here to Harris Field in Lewiston. We made mention earlier that Reese Allen does not go a long way in this game, and so on comes Christian Hurtado, who enters to pitch here in the 8th inning of play. And you see his numbers, again, impressive in their first game on Friday and impressive overall for the year.
Yeah, 2 1/3 shutout innings in the loss to Georgia Gwinnett Friday, but overall 59 innings, a 7-3 record, 63 strikeouts in those 59 innings. This is his 10th relief appearance of the season. So half of his 20 outings. He will be asked to keep this a 1-run ball game.
And so Christian Hurtado is on out of Pittsburgh, California, and on the Mid-American Nazarene roster, they don't list heights and weights, but he's a tall young man.
That means you get to make it up, Larry. That's what that tells me.
He's 7'2". There's a line drive base hit into center field. So a good start for Bellevue here in the top of the 8th inning. Brenton Davis with his 3rd hit of the ball game. Davis had the home run, the go-ahead hit in the top half of the 6th inning here. So an inning and a third for Reese Helland. He did not allow anything. No hits, no runs, no walks. He struck out 1. And Hurtado, the 4th man, to come out of the bullpen here. And we may have a 5th man to come out of the bullpen here, although there's a left-hand hitter coming up. So I can't imagine that they've got a lefty-on-lefty matchup. But Coach Thompson is making his way out.
I don't think anybody's ready that I saw, but that's it.
Yep, so he came on for try to get Davis, and even though there's a left-handed hitter coming to the plate in Soroy, they're going to go and get another man out of the bullpen here.
Well, the reason I didn't think he was ready is he was still throwing pitches with his warm-up top on.
So the 5th pitcher will come in here now, coming up for Mid-American Nazarene. We'll tell you about him when we return to Harris Field after this timeout here in the top of the 8th. Bellevue with a 1-run lead. Well, on for only 1 hitter was Hurtado, but this game is on the line here in the top half of the 8th inning, and so Coach Thompson has decided to go to his closer in Nathan Torres, and you see his numbers this year. He doesn't give up a whole lot of anything. The walks might be a tad high, but he's been outstanding all year long.
Yeah, 24 1/3 innings in his 20 outings, 43 strikeouts, has a victory for his only decision in the win-loss column. He has 14 saves and a sparkling 0.74 ERA for the native of Puerto Rico.
Well, if you want sparkling ERA going into the opening round tournament, he didn't have one. It was 0.00 going into the opening round. He gave up the only 2 earned runs he has allowed all year long in the opening round tournament. And it came against Oklahoma City. He had not allowed. He had not only had he not allowed an earned run, he hadn't allowed a run. Here's a bunt attempt, and that'll be a play at first base, 1-3. Vogel back in. He re-entered the game. You see him there, number 4. So Davis, or the courtesy runner, advances to second base. And no, that is Davis. He is not. They don't have the courtesy runner. We mentioned earlier that they don't always use the courtesy runner for him. He's running for himself right now.
When I thought on that play Torres could have gone to second, but he had his mind made up with the hitter squaring earlier that if he fielded, he was going to go to first base. Took the sure out.
Well, we saw that last night where Georgia Gwinnett, I think it was, threw a.
It was Southeastern.
It was
Adams.
Southeastern. The starter
Yeah.
for Southeastern on a bunt attempt tried to go to second, threw it in center field instead of just getting the sure out. So Torres against Oklahoma City on the 17th of May allowed 2 hits, 2 runs in 1 inning of play. Still got the save in that game, but it was the first earned runs that he had allowed all year. And he allowed an unearned run in the win over Freed Hardman on the 16th. So there you see him. Nathan Torres was a catcher until 2 years ago. Was going to quit baseball and decided, well, let's give pitching a try. As a catcher, he's got the arm, and we're going to get a balk. That balk played a role in one of the Bellevue runs in the first inning of play. Let's see what we see.
He started to flinch right there.
Yeah,
Yep,
a couple of different flinches.
So with that, they have to bring the infield in as they can ill afford to go down 2 runs here.
And a suicide squeeze play, and it's going to be a base hit. Torres tried to barehand it and shovel it to Sandoval, and he couldn't make the play. And so a suicide squeeze as Davis was coming on the pitch. And Stuffed gets the bunt down and gets the RBI, his second of the game.
Yeah, this was going to be a runner at first base either way, because with the infield in, Vogel actually came charging, and there's nobody at first base, so the only play he had was coming home, and there's just nothing he could do, perfectly executed by the Bruins.
And so here comes Vaughn, and he's shortening to bunt and takes a strike. 0-1. These guys looking like Georgia Gwinnett all of a sudden at the plate. A team that's going to run and bunt and do all sorts of things to try to upset the defense. Vaughn is grounded out, popped up, and struck out in this one. And it's 1-1 now.
So Christian Hurtado throws one pitch, gives up a base hit. And after that runner is sacrificed, balked, and then squeezed, he is charged with an earned run. Not a good day.
There goes the runner. Swing and a miss at a slider. This was a hit and run, I believe, and out. At second base is Stuffed. I think that was a hit and run, but Vaughn got a slider rather than a fastball. He took a weak wave to try to protect the runner and couldn't do it. Couldn't make connection. We'll see it here.
Yeah, and again, it's a pitch low and away, but Sandoval's pop time is just so good, and he's got a strong arm, and he's made an accurate throw both times today to cut down runners. So that is now 3 base runners that have been tagged out on the bases for Bellevue, yet they still have a 5-3 lead here in the 8th.
One player thrown out at home and 2 caught trying to steal as Vaughn is able to serve a base hit into right center field. And so instead of runners at first and second, or maybe even first and third, and only 1 out, they've got a runner at first and 2 out now. For the Bruins, their 9th hit of the ball game and their 3rd of this inning.
We talked about all the traffic for Bellevue. 5 runs in. They've stranded 5. We mentioned the 3 runners thrown out on the bases. They've also hit into a double play.
1-0 on Ishii. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Torres, a first team, all Heart of America Conference player. There's a snap throw by Sandoval, and it's 3-0 now on Ishii. So Torres almost quitting baseball, deciding to transition from catching to pitching. Didn't pitch much last year as he was making that transition. Only appeared in 8 games for Mid-America Nazarene. 3-1 now. He had 1 save last year in a 4.32 ERA in 8 1/3 innings. He walked 8 and struck out 11, but he has found what works this season. Popped him up. Let's see if it can be caught in the wind, though. Leo is able to haul it in, and the inning ends, but Bellevue gets an insurance run here in the top half of the 8th inning. A run on 3 hits in the inning after 7 1/2. It's the Bruins up 5-3.
Sell online tickets from your school's website. Scan digital or printed tickets with the Hometown Gate app. And get immediate access to ticket revenue with real-time reporting. At no cost to your school. It's that easy to bring touchless ticketing to your hometown. Hometown. Fast scans, happy fans.
There's the Pioneer dugout as they need to get a couple of runs here as Blake Crippen is coming on for his first full inning of work. And he will look at the top of the order. It'll be Woodley, Sherwood, and Castillo, but we've got a pinch hitter now for Woodley coming on. This will be Joey Calamayo, who earlier in this ball game was a courtesy run. So Woodley was 0 for 3 in this one. And so they go to Calamayo, who's only hitting .273 this year in 11 at-bats. He's 3 out of 11.
And interesting that you would go to the bench at the top of the order.
Well, Woodley has not been great in the month of May, so that might have something to do with it. 1-2 the count. He was 3 out of 10 in the opening round, which is not bad, but 2 out of 18 in the conference tournament, so that was 5 out of 28 coming into the World Series. And then he was 0 for 4 in game 1 and 0 for 3 today, so that's 5 out of his last 35. But you go to a fairly untested player with just 11 at-bats all year in Calamayo. But if he gets on, he's a threat to run. They've used him as the courtesy runner this season on many occasions. He has 29 runs scored and 6 stolen bases. So if he can get on, and that's what you want here, you want him to get on because now you've got Sherwood, Castillo, and Sandoval coming up after him. So if you can get a man on and one of those guys is the tying run, then that can be an uncomfortable situation. And here's a fly ball hit fairly deep to left field. Back on the ball goes Soroy, and he watches that sail over the fence. How about that?
Well, that's why you pitch hit it, right, Larry?
Joey Calamayo, now he had only had 3 hits all year. One of them was a home run, so that is his second home run of the season in just 4 hits. And Calamayo hits one over the fence, and it's a 5-4 ball game.
Well, he gets the insurance run right back. And now you guarantee that Sandoval will hit in this inning. So we get another look at it. Fastball right out over the plate, and he didn't miss it. Although the fan in the outfield did.
So Calamayo out of Overland Park, Kansas, Shawnee Mission South High School. Same high school as Drew Woodley. And here's a little foul there by Sherwood. The count is 0-1.
Sherwood tried to catch him by surprise with a bunt. And I actually think that Davis was going to field that ball, and it would have been a bang-bang play at first, but it took a left turn when it hit the grass, kicked into foul territory.
Sherwood, a double and a run scored in the first inning of play. He has since had no luck, striking out twice. Yes, you had a look at the left-hander on the mound there, Crippen, who gave up a rare home run, only the 4th home run he has allowed this season in 72 innings roughly of work. 0-2 now on Sherwood, junior out of Elkhart, Indiana. Hit in the air to left field. The park will hold it. Soroy drifting toward the line. That's the first out of the inning. 5 outs remaining to get now if you're looking at it from the perspective of the Bellevue Bruins. But they've got a tough man to try to deal with here in Noah Castillo.
You got Castillo and Sandoval, the next 2 hitters. Both of them already own home runs today. Castillo 3 in the series.
He's 2 out of 3 in this ball game. A run scored and an RBI on that solo homer in the 3rd. Good curve for a strike, and the count's 0-1. Castillo has been on fire here over the last month or so, as we mentioned earlier. He was a second team All Heart of America Athletic Conference player. If he had had the success throughout the season that he had in the last couple of weeks of conference play, he would have been a first team all-conference player. See the shirt sleeves of the umpire with the wind whipping them around a little bit here. There you see the flag. One and two. And you can hear what you were seeing there with the wind whipping around, or with the flag whipping around.
Let's go!
U.S. flag out in right field. He's going straight in, and just during this at bat, we've seen it go really in any direction right now.
Hit on the ground, cut off by the third baseman Deal, who's throwing plenty of time. There's 2 out in the inning. So again, the key thing there for Crippen is keeping the ball in the ballpark when you're dealing with Castillo and Sandoval. He did, and Deal made the play defensively. Bellevue still has not committed any errors, and we mentioned errors in the open here. That's what hurt them on Friday, and they have stayed away from hurting themselves here in this ballgame defensively.
Looks like we're going to have potentially another pitching change. Maybe they want to go to a right-hander here. I think that's going to be the move with Sandoval coming up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who comes in here. Their stud starter, Johnson, left the game after 3 innings on Friday. So would they bring him in here? And I believe they will. And so a new pitcher is coming on here. We'll tell you about him after this timeout. Well, there goes Crippen. He allowed the home run, but he got the double play ball that ended the 7th inning of play. So he goes an inning and a third, and on comes Elijah Johnson, the pitcher of the year in the North Star Athletic Association, and you see his numbers. He was pretty dominant on Friday before the rain, and on the season he has been exactly that, Craig.
Yeah, and if you're Bellevue, the rain may be changing their entire World Series, as they had this guy out there for the start. You mentioned the 3 innings, not giving up a run. He did walk 3, but struck out 4. ERA down to 1.99 this season. So they'll ask him to come on here in the 8th inning, 4 outs away from a victory. Looking for his 2nd save of the year in this, his 2nd relief appearance of the season.
And that man is the reason that Johnson is coming on. The All-American from 2021, Joshua Sandoval. And we'll take a look at what he did in the 6th inning of play. A no-doubter, as you can tell from the body language there. And so that is going to be power against power. You've got the pitcher of the year in the North Star Athletic Association in 2022 taking on a 2021 All-American in NAIA baseball, and Sandoval, and a guy that's been hot the last month of the season. Ideally, I'm sure that Bellevue would have preferred to not use Johnson today, but you don't get to tomorrow unless you win today.
Correct.
So your tournament's on the line right now, so you go to your stud. 1-1.
Well, and if he's efficient here, goes through 4 outs, it kind of acts just like a bullpen outing. On a side day, maybe. You could still go to him later in the series.
Johnson, number 1 nationally in strikeouts and tied for number 1 nationally in complete games with 9. Led his team in starts, innings pitched, ERA, and strikeouts, and he was tied for the top spot in victories with the guy he replaced, Crippen, who had 11 wins on the year, and so does Johnson. Out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Sandoval. So these are 2 All-American type players going at one another right here in a key spot in the ball game, with Bellevue clinging to a 5-4 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sandoval, a base hit and an RBI in the first, plus his solo home run here in the 6th. Three and 2. Staying away from it. Doesn't want to give him anything middle of the plate in. Throw him a breaking ball. Still 3 and 2 as the kids go chase for the souvenir. There's Sandoval.
Oh, wait right here. Be a dog. Let's go, EJ.
And time called now as something got loose out of the bullpen there.
It's that
weighted
ball we were talking about, and it's actually being thrown. It's been such a long inning that Torres is throwing a ball against the wall is what happened there. Somehow he missed it and wound up out on the field.
That is Nathan Torres, the closer for this Mid-American Nazarene team, came on in the 8th. A titanic matchup. Johnson versus Sandoval, won by Elijah Johnson. As Sandoval goes down swinging, and the 8th inning is history. But Calamayo's leadoff home run in the 8th makes it a 1-run game going to the 9th. Well, it's a stocking cap kind of day here in Lewiston. Temperatures in the 50s with a pretty good breeze blowing. At the very least, you want more than just a windbreaker on. There's a guy he looks like he's hunkered down for winter. And I probably would be right there with him if I was sitting in the stands with my winter coat on and a hood over my head on a breezy day today here in Lewiston, Idaho. There is Nathan Torres, the closer for this Pioneer team. His job is to keep Faulkner at 5. He allowed an inherited runner to score in the 8th. Otherwise, we'd have a tie game. Here going into the 9th inning, Torres will look at the 9 1-2 hitters for the Bruins. Zach Deal, then back to the top of the order for Kanta Kobayashi and Connor Barnett. The winner continues playing tomorrow. The loser's season is done. And Deal swings through that one, 0-1. Deal stole the base and advanced as far as 3rd today after walking in the 2nd inning. And the count 0-2 now on Deal. 1-2. Good eye by Deal to lay off the slider that swept outside there. Again, slider outside, 2-2. Deal staying alive, 2 balls, 2 strikes. If you're Torres, you want to get this man, obviously the number 9 hitter in the batting order. You don't want runners on when you get to the top part of this order. To Kobayashi, Barnett, Ackerman, and Davis. Both these teams with very solid top halves of the batting order. Now 3-2.
It doesn't look to me like Torres has been the most comfortable out there on the mound in this outing. He's had some control issues here since he came in last inning.
Deal has drawn 30 walks on the season, including his one earlier in this ball game, and he stays alive there, again fouling off another pitch.
And although he hasn't walked anybody, he has fallen behind some hitters.
Torres, as we mentioned when Craig was running down his numbers, he has walked 16 guys in 24 1/3 innings coming into this ball game. So his command can leave him from time to time, but that time sure would. Toward the bag at second, the shortstop makes the play, and there's one precious out here in the top half of the 9th inning of play. So Torres did what he had to do there. He gets the leadoff man Deal, and now have to see what he can do with the top of the order as Kanta Kobayashi will step to the plate. Kobayashi, a triple to start off the ball game. On the second pitch of the game, he scored the first run of the game for the Bruins. And he had Cornette deep at third and couldn't get a pitch to try to lay down a bunt on. Takes one high and away, and it's 1-0. So now Cornette comes in to the grass. And Kobayashi, who likes to shoot the ball through the left side, now has a little more angle to do so with Cornette. Now he's backed up a couple of steps there. He's now even with the bag at third. Two and 3-0. Kobayashi, a very disciplined hitter with 33 walks drawn this season. Looks at a strike there. In the bottom of the 9th, for the Pioneers, they'll have their 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Cornette, Fernandez, and Torrance, who are combined 0 for 8 with a walk in this game. Hit into the gap again. Long run for Leo on the run. Can he make the play? Oh, collides with a left fielder, Calamayo. And Calamayo, did he make the catch? He did. Wow. Hats flew off. Glasses flew off. Contact, but the catch made.
Well, you like to have the center fielder take everything he can get. I'm not sure he was actually going to get there. And the ball was slicing back toward Calamayo, who was actually calling for it. He's able to make the play. Unfortunately, at the last moment, Leo pulled up. And I think that eliminated what could have been a disastrous collision.
Foul by Barnett, 0-1 the count. So Calamayo, how about his day since coming on in the bottom of the 8th inning? A solo homer to make it a 5-4 game, draw his team within 1, and then a catch there out in left field on a ball where if that gets by him, or if there's a collision and the ball is rolling, that could have been an inside the park home run for Kobayashi. Here's a high fly to shallow right, and Torrance comes on to make the catch there. So Torres does his job. He retires the Bruins in order, 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the 9th coming up. The Pioneers need a run to extend their season. Jonathan Cornett loosening up. He will be the leadoff hitter, the number 5 man in the batting order for the Pioneers of Mid-American Nazarene out of Olathe, Kansas. They need a run. A run will tie. 2 will get them a victory. And the Kansas flag on the very left of the picture there will come down unless the Pioneers can rally for a couple of runs here in the 9th inning of play. Well, the Nebraska flag on the right, that's whether you get the Nebraska flag on the right, the Kansas flag on the left, and one of them is going to go away here. Whether it be the Nebraska flag of Bellevue or the Kansas flag of Mid-American Nazarene. That ball's hit well, but not well enough. Into right center field on the first pitch. And Kobayashi will haul it in, and Cornett's bid is an out, and there's one gone on the first pitch of the inning. There is Elijah Johnson.
He hit that to the wrong part of the ballpark. Wind blowing in from what we can see from right field. Probably held that one up.
And so 1 out, nobody on. Randy Fernandez, a good hitting second baseman, steps to the plate at .365 on the season. Slider by Johnson misses. Ball 1, 1-0. Fernandez, a 2-hit game on Friday. Just looking to get on here. Two-0. Elijah Johnson, the first team All North Star pitcher and the pitcher of the year in the North Star Athletic Conference. On to try to close this one out. 3-0. Now you're taking 1 here at the very least. We'll see if he's taken 2.
Well, Johnson has to be aware of that. This just has to be a get-me-over pitch right here. Can't imagine he would have the green light.
We'll see what happens here. With a player with who's a good hitter here in Fernandez, I could see him, if he gets what he likes, maybe getting an opportunity to swing. Wasn't put in that position. The tying run is on base here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, you've got to put your best base stealer you have. I realize they've used their courtesy runner and now in the field in Calamayo. But you've got to have your best speed on the bases here. You can always re-enter Fernandez.
Fernandez has 5 steals in 6 attempts this year, and they don't really have a big base stealer on the bench. So here's Josh Torrance. He walked his last time up. Takes a strike there, 0-1. Torrance, a .376 hitter. So this is a capable man at the plate with 20 extra base hits this year and 41 runs driven in. The winning run. Popped him up. Will this be playable? Davis giving it a look. Also the first baseman coming down, stuffed, giving it a look, but it was a row deep in the stands. Bounced off actually the walkway and bounced to that fan.
Well, he had his glove up. The ball hit a couple of rows before, and then he was starting down for it, put his head down, and his mom, it looks like next to him, wound up with the bounce.
And Bellevue fans, so they're excited they get a foul ball, A, but B, it was a strike for their team. So 0-2 the count now on Torrance. Infield looking for a ground ball they can turn 2 on and win this ball game. Slider outside, 1-2. Ryan Leo, who had a base hit his last time up, is on deck, and he would be next if Torrance could stay out of the double play ball here. There's Leo. Fernandez back safely.
Pretty good move for a right-hander over to first.
That was quick. So if you're Fernandez, you better pay attention over there. You see he doesn't have a big lead. Only a couple of steps away from the bag. inside. 2-2. So Fernandez worked a walk against Johnson. And Torrance, who has worked a walk already in this game, trying to do something here to stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Can't do it. Strikeout victim of Johnson, his second in 4 batters faced. So now they're down to their last out of the ball game, and it is Ryan Leo. Just threw a fastball past him here.
Yeah, just had enough late movement on that Torrance was unable to catch up to it.
So Ryan Leo, the only player from the 5th spot in the batting order on down to have gotten a base hit today. He's the winning run at the plate. He has 6 home runs this season. 49 runs driven in. And again, a hot hitter who has driven in 16 runs in his last 18 games. Off speed, and that took a bite out of Davis behind home plate. The count's 0-1 on Leo. That's the second time I think Davis has gotten a foul ball.
This one I thought hit him more in the chest protector, but it spun him around a bit. See if we get another look at it here. Yeah, right off the chest protector. Oh, but it caught the hand. Maybe caught the right hand on the second.
Well, still, I would think you'd take one in the kind of the breastbone like that. I would imagine that catches your breath there for a moment or two. Down to their last strike now are the Pioneers, 0-2. And the Bellevue fans that are here getting into it a little bit here, hoping to push their team over the edge. 0-2 on Leo. The tying run at first base. Leo the winning run at the plate. High fastball fouled off. Stays alive. Giving chase there was Barnett, but he had basically no chance. But the last thing you want to do is be standing in right field and have a ball fall in foul ground that you could have had if you had given chase. And with the wind, you don't know exactly where some of these fly balls may end up here today. Little looper, and that's going to get down, and that's going to be a base hit. And so now the winning run is on base.
And it also looked like the second baseman, Vaughn, came up limping out there at second base.
He is. You see him favoring that left leg there. I don't know.
Oh, he rolled the ankle, it looked like.
Trying to plant there. Kind of rolled that ankle a little bit here. So he's trying to walk it off right now. The ground here might still be a little wet, especially around where the tarp is pulled on and off.
Now, interesting, he's out near second base. This is Vogel, who was lifted for a pinch hitter last time, but re-entered. They have a big hole on the right side for a left-handed hitter.
Vogel is 0 for 2. Fastball away. Tying run in scoring position here.
And to me, it's not really necessary to. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to hold this runner, but your outfield is so deep. Look where they're playing. Any base hit to the outfield is going to score the run anyway. So go ahead and play at normal depth and give yourself the best chance to throw the runner out at first on a ground ball.
2-0. There's the position into the outfield and the position into the infield here as they try to keep Fernandez a little bit closer.
Well, because they're playing no doubles because they don't want to give up. They don't want to give up the winning run.
Exactly. So I agree with what you're saying 100%. And it's the shortstop that's bird dogging rather than the second baseman right now. Popped him up. But with the wind, let's see what happens here. The shortstop, Ackerman, is out there, and he will put it away, and the ball game is over. And Bellevue hangs on, but not without some drama here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. One hit, two left. For Mid-American Nazarene, the Pioneer season ends at 39-18 in their first trip to the NAIA World Series in Lewiston. They've got their program rolling. I think we'll see them again in years to come. And Bellevue improves to 49-18, and they will move on to a date tomorrow morning at 8:30 Pacific time against Tennessee Wesleyan. So, as you will see as we go through the World Series, a situation where it's all hands on deck. The star pitcher, Johnson, has to come in out of the bullpen. The other man that leads the team with 11 wins on the season comes in out of the bullpen. Blake Crippen as well, and Alexandro Salicio does an outstanding job starting this ball game. They do allow 3 home runs, but they were all solo blasts. That doesn't hurt you too much, and Bellevue gets the victory.
Yeah, the only knock on Bellevue for me is they left a lot of runners out on the base paths, and I think they're going to have to clean that up if they're going to make a deep run. But you'll take it any way you can get it when you fall into the loser's bracket, and that's exactly what happened today. They'll come back tomorrow. They take some, 5 more wins if they want to become the first team since Lewis Clark State in 2006 to drop the opener and then come all the way back. But with the weather forecast for the week, who knows? There may be some off days sprinkled in. They may have to play twice in a day. You don't know. The bottom line is they can enjoy this one today and know they get another day here in the LC Valley.
So 1 down, 5 to go for the Bellevue Bruins. They play tomorrow morning at 8:30 against Tennessee Wesleyan. Coming up next in about 40 minutes or so, the 2022 Avista NAIA World Series will continue. Another elimination game at Battle of the Warriors for the second straight day for the Westmont Warriors. Yesterday they lost to Lewis Clark State, the host team. Today the 6th-seeded Warriors will take on the 10th-seeded Weber International Warriors. And again, that ball game will be coming up in about 40 minutes or so, pretty close to 3:30 Pacific time. If you're watching on television in our area, SWX in Eastern Washington and North Idaho, or if you're watching on the NAIA stream available on the NAIA website. That flag, the Kansas flag, will go away at the end of the day today. Bellevue, the Bruins, hang on to a 5-4 win over the Pioneers of Mid-America Nazarene. For our entire SWX crew and my partner Craig Lawson, I'm Larry Ware. So long from Harris Field in Lewiston. Bellevue hangs on to a 5-4 win in this.
Batting fourth, the catcher, number 24, Brent Davis. The next batter, the third baseman, number 16, Dio Cornett. Home run number 16 for Joshua Sandoval. The next batter, the shortstop number 10,